So today we need to talk about something that for a lot of you might be your only problem when it comes to manifesting. Maybe your problem really isn't self-concept. Maybe your problem isn't really non-attachment. Maybe your problem isn't really resistance. Although, spoiler alert, resistance and persistence tend to affect each other. I would wager for a lot of you, a lot of people in my audience, you have been doing a great job at working on your self-concept, at working on your healthy attachments. You've been doing a great job with self-focus. But some of you are using your focus on self as actually an excuse to not persist in your specific will about a specific manifestation. So today we really need to talk about persistence again. I know I've talked about it before, but we need to keep talking about it because there's lots of sneaky ways that you are sabotaging persistence, making persistence more difficult than it needs to be. And I want to lay it all out for you today so that persistence becomes easy. You are clear on what persistence is and what it is not, and you're clear on when you are sabotaging your persistence in sneaky ways. But before we get deeper into this video, let me introduce myself to those of you who maybe don't know me yet. My name is Genevieve, and I am here as your manifestation coach. And you manifested me because you are ready to get this manifestation stuff on a deeper level, a healthier level, highlight on healthy, a sustainable level. I am here to ground you in a healthier way into your manifestation practice so you actually see more sustainable results. Today specifically is so much about that. So if you like my way of teaching manifestation, of speaking about manifestation, there are all kinds of ways you can work with me. You can do a private one-on-one session with me where we go really deeply and specifically into what you need to be focusing on. I also have courses that you can do, and the links to all that is down below. I'm also really excited to announce I've created a new tier of the membership portion of my channel. It's called the Platinum tier, and on this tier, you will get to participate in a monthly group coaching call with me. I've been talking about doing group coaching for a while, and it finally came to me that this would be the best way to do it. I'm going to be answering your specific questions for everyone to hear, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a more affordable way to get the one-on-one coaching, but obviously in like a group setting. So if you want to join that, just join the Platinum tier of my membership channel. You'll have access to the Zoom link. We'll be doing these Zoom calls at the end of every month, the last Saturday of every month. I also ask, please don't share, obviously, the Zoom link with anyone. I will know if people who are not signed up for the Platinum tier are in the call. So don't be trying to sneak people in, or don't you sneak in if you don't really have a membership. Okay, so all the links to everything are down below. We need to get into persistence. So first of all, I want to reiterate what persistence is not for those of you who still aren't even clear on like, how do I persist, or what is persisting? Because so many people, especially when they first get into manifestation, have this misconception that persistence equals effort. Like if I just put a lot of effort into thinking about my manifestation all the time and doing lots of techniques all the time, then that effort will equate manifestation. And I understand why some people are thinking in that way, because that's a very 3D linear way of thinking. We in the 3D world, we're conditioned that you put in work, and whatever you put in your hard work into, you get an outcome to that work. Linear ego 3D conditioning is all about effort in, results out. It's just a very like click, click, click. Okay, I did my work. I got the check mark on my homework. Okay, give me my gold star. Give me my A. That's how so many of us, in a very 3D based way of relating to the world, we're conditioned. But when it comes to manifestation, we are operating in such a spiritual realm that is so far beyond the comprehension of just like 3D earth physical laws. In the 4D, the 5D, the 12D, everything is light energy. It's not dense energy like on the earth plane. Everything that makes manifestations happen is originating in a light energy place. What do I mean by that? It's not happening in a place of effort or matter on matter or pushing. It's not about effort at all. It is about, as you've probably heard a million times before, a change in your state of being. And truly all that means is if you're standing right here, you're just boop, taking a step over here instead. And that step is in your thoughts, feelings, energy, mindset, all of those words are the things that feed into this light energy that is what causes manifestations. Manifesting is technically as easy as just opening a door within you, stepping through that doorway, and staying on the other side of that doorway that you just opened. That's the persisting. It's the staying in the wish fulfilled. And I'm laughing because, again, I get how your ego could hear that and think, okay, staying in the wish fulfilled, well, that takes effort. No, let's let go of the word effort forever. Staying in the wish fulfilled is not about effort. I want you to keep relating to manifestation in a very light way. And persisting is really just as easy as if you catch yourself like, oh, I just stepped out of the doorway. To persist again, it really is as easy as just stepping back through. And this is completely internal. This is your thoughts, your mindset, your feeling direction, your feeling channeling. And I know that even those kinds of words, especially when it comes to feelings, can sometimes overwhelm you guys. It can feel like, well, that's effort. That's effort to channel my feelings. That's effort to manage my thoughts. No. That is just an assumption. And when I say that this is light energy work, it's really as simple as realizing, oh, even that, me thinking that, oh, it's effort to change my thoughts. Oh, it's effort to channel my energy in a different way. That is just a piece of light that you are taking seriously. And again, all you have to do is see, oh, I just stepped through a doorway that actually I don't want to step through that doorway. So I'm going to step back out, step back into the doorway that is my wish fulfilled. I hope the metaphors of doorways is making sense. It's like, imagine that like your energy is just a long hallway of doorways, and there are some doorways that lead to things you don't really want anymore, and there's some doorways on this hallway that obviously lead to just, that's the room where the wish fulfilled is. And I want you to think of manifesting and think of persisting as easily as you can just step back into the hallway. If you've stepped into the wrong room, you just step into the hallway and you're like, oh, yep, actually I'm going into this room. It is a decision. Persisting is as easy as a decision. It's a light decision. I'm going to keep using that word light because I want you to start relating to it as it's not a hard decision. It's not an efforting decision. It's not a pushing decision. It's not a constant grind decision. It is a simple just, oh, I'm in the wrong doorway. Let's go over here. And you can think it exactly as I just said it, like literally exactly as I just said it, because working in this light consciousness energy realm is all about redirection. Your consciousness is limitless. It is God. It can go anywhere. And to move through it, it's not heavy. It's not a dense 3D thing. It is light consciousness. It really is as simple as like, oh, I'm going this way a little too much. I'm mindful and I know I'm the operant power, so I'm going to pull back a little bit and just be like, oh yeah, I want to go that way. And you're just constantly like, oh yeah, this is where I want to go. That's the thought part of it. It's as easy as that. You're not condemning that you stepped into the wrong doorway temporarily. You're not freaking out that you just stepped into the wrong doorway temporarily either. You're staying light. You're staying in like, oh yeah, this is easy. I'm just going to keep remembering that this is easy. And here's the feeling part of it, because I get that some of you are thinking, oh yeah, okay, that sounds easy. Just like change your thoughts or like redirect your thoughts a little bit. But what about if I'm feeling really bad? What if my feelings have already got a lot of momentum in the bad doorway? Like the scary room I just stepped into, it's really got me going and I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling like nothing's ever going to work out for me. I'm feeling totally consumed feeling wise in my old conditioning, my old identity. Well, first of all, that is an extremely common and normal part of the manifestation process, especially for people that are making huge paradigm shifts in their identities, in their self-concepts, in their expectations of what they think is possible for them. For example, when you move from my specific person always is going to treat me badly, they're never going to talk to me, they're never going to choose me, this is how it's always been, I have so much evidence, this is how it is. When that's like really heavy, very experienced conditioning that you've physically experienced, you've mentally experienced it, you very emotionally have experienced it, it makes sense that that's not going to just instantly go away the moment that you start practicing redirecting over here. And I really want you to normalize that this is a process. You're learning a new skill. You're rewiring your brain. You're rewiring your biology in a lot of ways. You wouldn't take someone who's never learned how to swim and then teach them once, like, oh, this is how you swim. You just show them real quick, just do this or whatever. Obviously, I can't swim because you definitely don't do this in the water. But you don't just tell them once, oh, it's so easy to swim. You just do this move. All right, go on in and do it. You wouldn't just like quickly explain something to that person who's never swam before and then them get in the water and like obviously suck at it and then be like surprised about that, like, or shame them. Like, oh my God, I already told you 3 times how to do the move and look at you in the water. You're still freaking drowning. That same thing applies to manifestation when you're making really big paradigm shifts in your identity. When you're going from, I can't do this at all, this has never worked for me, or this is really an area of my life I've really struggled with manifesting. If you're moving from that to the freaking opposite, where it's like, actually, I'm amazing at this. This is extremely easy for me. It's not even an issue for me. It's so easy and light and simple for me. When you're moving from A to Z like that, your growth is going to have like peaks and valleys, but the upward trajectory is still going to happen. But it's really normal that sometimes you're going to feel good. Other times that old conditioning, as you're expanding and challenging your old upper limits, that old conditioning is going to try to come back up and bring you back to safety, because also that's why it comes back. It thinks that you are safer in the habits you've already formed. You have to remember that your brain is built to operate on habits. Like when I say we're changing your conditioning, we're changing your habits of thinking, your habits of energy, your habits of just being in reality and expecting in reality. So when your brain has a pretty solid habit that it trusts, and even if it's a negative habit that causes you suffering, if your brain really trusts that habit because it's got a lot of evidence, it's got a lot of proof, it's got a lot of just like, yep, this is what we experienced a lot, so this is what we trust. This habit, this part of your brain is going to be literally threatened by you leaving that habit, because your brain is like, whoa, you're going to die. You're literally going to die if you start believing that your specific person's going to love you, or you're literally going to die if you think that you're going to make money because we have so much experience that you're not. So stay over here. In this area. And of course I laugh because it sounds so crazy to say out loud, but I know that you get what I'm saying. When we acknowledge that habits feel like safety to us, they feel like security to us. And even when the habit is completely not serving us, the habit itself is actually ironically a threat to our survival. But because our brain, that ego part of us, doesn't know any better, it is literally threatened by you taking on something new that it's not so familiar with. It doesn't have a lot of trust in the new habit, the new identity, the new conditioning yet. Anyway, so all of this is a rant to say it is completely freaking normal if you are not instantly feeling great all the time, feeling so sure and confident of your stepping into the new doorway, stepping into the wish fulfilled. It is completely normal that you might redirect yourself back to the wish fulfilled, just remembering, oh yeah, the wish fulfilled is happening. Oh yeah, the wish fulfilled is happening. You might do that 1,000,000 times a day, and maybe you still feel in your stomach like a pit of like, ugh, because there's some part of your old energy that doesn't believe fully the wish fulfilled yet. But does this mean that persisting is hard? No. Does this mean that persisting takes effort because of all these old emotional baggages in our body? No. What I have learned when it comes to my old emotions, and by that I obviously mean the emotions that are more supportive of kind of the old conditioning, not so much matching the new conditioning. When those old or negative emotions come up, I want you to remember that all emotion is the same energy. All emotion is your magnetism. You've probably heard people like Joe Dispenza say that thoughts are an electrical signal, emotions are a magnetic signal. And it's true, a good state of being is definitely congruent in both. You typically have dominant thoughts that are matching dominant feelings. Doesn't mean that the feelings and thoughts are always perfect, but it just means that dominantly you're more in the wish fulfilled, in your thoughts, in your emotions, dominant. The electric signal, the magnetic signal are working together. But again, here's what I've learned about our emotions. All your emotions are the same river. They are the same energy. They are the same stream. They are just flowing at different frequencies, different levels, different waves, depending on the emotion that's currently being expressed. And if that confuses you, let's keep it even more simple and simply say your emotions, all your emotions, are magnetic. I found this to be true so many times in my own experience that even when I was feeling fear, even when I was feeling sadness or grief or any of the really heavy or anger, any of the really heavy negative emotions that a lot of law of attraction people say, oh, you gotta be high vibe, positive vibes only, don't feel that. I have found that I can absolutely have my anger, absolutely have my grief, absolutely have my gut-wrenching fear, but I cannot allow it to flow into the old belief. What do I mean by that? All I mean by that is if I feel like I'm afraid, I will acknowledge, yeah, whoa, I can feel in my body. I'm afraid. My emotional magnetism is getting fear waves starting to bubble. But the old conditioned me would have those fear waves start to bubble, and I would instantly go to, oh no, this isn't working. Or, oh no, I can't do this. Or, oh no, insert whatever thought here. And I would take that thought extremely seriously. I would, the emotion would instantly match the thought, which would then confirm the thought, which would then confirm the emotion, and then whoops, we got a state of being flowing back and forth here. But instead, now I know as a master manifestor, all I have to do, feel those bubbles of fear in my magnetism and say, okay, I'm feeling afraid, but I still know everything's working out for me. I feel afraid and exactly what I want is happening. I feel afraid and I'm still in the doorway of the wish fulfilled. How do I know that? Because I'm the operant power and I've decided that. And manifestations happen simply because I keep making the same dominant decision over and over again. So I'm not negating the fear. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm not afraid. I'm not trying to effort the fear away. I'm not trying to argue with it and tell it, no, don't be afraid. Be positive. Be happy because the wish fulfilled's happening. We're not doing that because that sounds like effort. That sounds like not persistence. That sounds like resistance. Instead, I am non-resistant. I'm keeping everything about my day-to-day being of my life very easy and simple and light. Remember, we're staying in light energy. It's all about just, what am I thinking? Where am I directing? Where am I making meaning? Because even if I'm feeling gut-wrenching fear right now, I can still make that fear mean whatever I want. And because emotional magnetism is emotional magnetism, it's still attracting what I decide it's attracting. If I decide my fear means, nothing's working for me, well then yeah, I'm right. That's a pretty great circuit of a state of being right there. But even though it's foreign to me, even though it's not my habit yet, I can make fear just as easily mean, oh, actually it means this. It means that my manifestation is closer than ever. It means that I'm really outgrowing who I used to be. So that is as simple as I want you to keep persistence. It's not about effort, but it is about consistent redirection. But here is the last thing I need to say about persistence, because this is the thing that a lot of you need to hear the most. Because like I said at the beginning, some of you are thinking you're persisting, but what you're actually doing is you're confusing how much intellectual knowledge you have about manifesting. You're confusing that with thinking you're in the wish fulfilled. What do I mean by that? A lot of you, especially the people who are on my channel here with me, you guys are fucking smart. You guys are very researched. You have a lot of knowledge already about what manifesting is. You've read Neville Goddard, you've seen a million different videos, you've seen all the content about all this stuff. So you have fed your ego with a lot of knowledge. But sometimes the ego can cause you to bypass an actual manifestation practice, because your ego will think, well, I already know everything. I already know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so it's almost like your ego will think, well, because I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I guess that means I'm doing it. When actually you're not. You're bypassing. You're just staying in intellectual land, but you're not really practicing that deeper consistency of holding yourself accountable every day. And again, it doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be a lot of effort, but it does take consistent mindfulness, consistent watching of like, whoa, who am I being right now? How am I reacting to this thing and that thing? What kinds of meanings am I making just in my day-to-day life? Am I making meanings in real time that are supporting the direction I'm going in? Or am I sneakily continuing to make the same meanings I've always made even before I found out about manifestation, but I just kind of forget that I'm making those meanings because I have so much manifestation knowledge? I hope that makes sense. Bottom line is a lot of you are over intellectualizing as a way of bypassing the deeper practice. Like, am I really acknowledging what I'm feeling and really consciously directing that into, yes, I feel this way, and my SP is texting me right now. if you need to be that specific about something like an SP. So I felt I really needed to say that to you guys in this video on persistence because, like I said, a lot of people in my audience are extremely smart, extremely intellectual. And as I've maybe mentioned before, that can accidentally turn into bypassing or thinking you're doing something you're not actually doing. Your ego's just thinking about it. Doing the right kind of coaching or even a course or whatever can really help you sink into a consistent practice because you do need a practice. Just like if you're learning how to swim or bake or work out, you need to do it consistently. Even if you read all the books about how to swim or all the books on how to bake, if you're not really practicing just in a consistent day-to-day way, it doesn't matter if you know everything about swimming or baking because you're not baking a cake, you're not getting in the water. And some of you are not getting in the water, you're kind of deluding yourself thinking you are, but you're not doing it as deeply as you could be. And again, it's not effort, it's just a light consistency, a light but focused consistency. Okay, that is what I have for you today on persistence. Please let me know what you guys think. I always like to see what your questions are, what these video topics bring up for you. So let me know in the comments below. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's more links for other things to do down below, and there's more videos on this channel to watch. I've got plenty of videos on persistence and every other thing that you could possibly want to hear me talk about. So go check that out. I will continue to make more content to get all of this deeper in you. So let me know your questions, your thoughts, all that fun stuff. So I will see you guys in my next video. All right, bye.